The Chiefs get their guy, but it's not at number 9.
From the land of the free and the home of the Chiefs, this is the Locked On Chiefs podcast.
You are Locked On Chiefs, your daily Kansas City Chiefs podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And we're back talking about our first round draft picks from our mock draft that we had on the Daily Show. So if you haven't already, go check that out. We're going to get into what we thought on this first round. I'm Chris Clark from Chiefs Corner. He's Ryan Tracy from RGR Football, NFL 33, and Rogue Analytics. There's a lot of different things to talk about when we start talking about the draft. One of the things that we have continued to hear is that Bain could be possibly slipping. Some of the wide receivers could be slipping. The teams seem to be more interested in some of the offensive tackles. So we took that into consideration and ran a couple different scenarios. This is not something we normally do on our mock drafts, but we went and we restarted the mock draft multiple different times just to kind of see what happened with the different ways. And we ended up using the consensus board, not PFF's board. So that also changed things a little bit, but this is how it shook out. And to me, they got who they wanted to get. Mm-hmm. But Reuben Bain wasn't there with the first couple of times we ran through this scenario. We don't know. The one thing that we don't know is this just people trying to push players down? That could possibly be what's going on here. Or is it really something that the teams feel? What were your thoughts here?
Well, and this is why that exercise was useful, is especially using the consensus board. That's building in what Daniel Jeremiah thinks or what Dane Brugler thinks. A number of media members that have a lot of connections inside the league, right? It's honestly the best thing that PFF had done with that tool in quite a long time, and it matches what some of the other, I think, more informed tools for mock drafting do, but they're not as clean and not as easy to navigate and actually use. You know what I mean? But I think they're a little more accurate. So I think what that does is give you an idea of what some of the scenarios are. And the teams run these mock drafts as well. They just do it themselves. They probably have their own internal tools, but they run a ton of them all the time just to get a feel for like what it looks like. And I thought that was really useful because it told us, it confirmed that, yes, if Cleveland's ready to move out, then that is an opportunity to go get the guy that you want and address need number 1. And that was worth taking that chance on. Everything else after that is gravy, really, compared to being able to go get job number 1 done.
Well, and I will say this, if there's any possible chance the Chiefs can go from 9 to 6 for the 5th round pick of 148, they're going to do it, and they will draft Reuben Bain if he is available sitting there at number 6. I have no doubt in my mind that is what they're going to be looking at. I'm going to be curious to see how this turns out. I mean, we're less than 2 weeks away from the NFL draft at this point. So it is something that we will be finding out very shortly what the teams think of these players and how it turns out. And we're going to talk about the other first-round pick in the next segment. But I do think the interesting part of getting to that pick itself was all the wide receivers went between 6 and 18.
Mm-hmm. It was run. And that is very, very something very plausible that could happen in reality as well.
Well, and then if we look at, here's how the first round turned out. Tate went 2 picks after the Chiefs. Then you have, Delane going at 10, Tyson going at 11, and let's see, Libby going at 12.
13? Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's CB1, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 3, and tackle 1, all in that 4 or 5 picks after we went. Now, I have Tate as wide receiver 2. I do have Tyson as number 1. It is definitely a roll of the dice. But that tells you that just how much we're teetering still, the Chiefs are at 9, on the edge of having a chance to get what they want and having a chance to have everybody they want go after them like all in a row.
Now, it's interesting because then you end up getting Caden Proctor going at 17, so it's a 4th offensive tackle in the top 17, and that gives you the ability, plus 2 safeties, that gives you the ability to have a chance at a guy like Kenyon Sadiq at 18. And I do feel like if the Chiefs would have waited to try to go to pick 20 or something like that, they wouldn't have gotten Sadiq because I do think the Carolina Panthers probably would have pounced. But, Amar Cooper goes at 22, so you have another wide receiver going in the top 25. Akeem Messidor goes at 25. So your edges are going to be gone. TJ Parker goes a couple picks after that. It's just the way this draft set up was very interesting to see kind of how it played out with the safeties and the wide receivers, and then all of the tackles going as well. I think Kansas City is going to go try to get Reuben Bain. I do think that's who they really want. It's just a matter of, do other teams really want to give up more to go get him, or are the Chiefs going to be able to make a move to be able to do that? And when we get back, we're going to talk about the Chiefs and drafting their tight end of the future in Kenyon Sadiq right after this.
Tax season doesn't have to take over your life. This year, TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move on with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local expert, start to finish, without the stress or guesswork. Instead of spending hours trying to figure out your forms, find all of my expenses on the pod and everything that goes into producing all of these shows, you can meet with a local tax expert and a person, connect online, and you're in business. For a limited time, all you have to do is to get connected and have your taxes done by a local pro expert for just $150. All in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just file by February 28th. Take your taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit turbotax.com/local to book your appointment today. This is it. Workplace chaos, deadlines stacking up, inbox overflowing like mine is every single day. One position you have to have before you can even get it open. When the pressure's on you and you need to get the right hire, this is a job for sponsored jobs. Indeed, sponsored jobs helps you reach people who are actually fit for what you're looking for, whether it's the skills or the experience or the location, wherever that is. Spend less time searching, more time actually interviewing candidates who check all your boxes, less stress, time, and more results. All you need is the right person to cut through that chaos, and the job at Indeed Sponsored Jobs helps. Listeners, right now, we'll get a $75 sponsored job credit to help you get your premium status up it deserves at Indeed.com/podcast. Just go to Indeed.com/podcast right now and support our show by saying you heard about Indeed on this podcast. Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply. If you need to hire, this is a job for Indeed Sponsored Jobs. The NBA playoffs are here. Every possession matters. Every matchup is magnified. Every game can swing a series. And right now, FanDuel is giving new customers a great way to get into that action. All you have to do is make sure that you bet $5 and you get $250 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Doesn't matter who you're betting on or what team or whatever matchup that you like, you can get it easily just by betting that $5. That makes it easy to follow all the actions with the player stats, the trends, the matchups. Everything's all in one place, and it makes your life a little bit simpler. It just makes the entire playoff experience more engaging, start to finish, so that you're in that action. I personally love it, and it's in a town that has won a championship in the NBA more recently than most. I am always inundated with basketball. I'd rather watch hockey, but that's just me. You can still get into the action on either of them, but right now it is all about the NBA. Head over to FanDuel.com to get started. It's there for you. FanDuel, play your game.
Kansas City gets a tight end of the future in Kenyon Sadiq at number 18. I do think that this is something that if it plays out this way, look at the draft board. You're not even going to have a chance really at 29 to get a wide receiver probably that fits the Chiefs. You are down to 5 and 6 wide receivers go by pick 30 in this draft.
Yeah, a guy that fits them as well. Omar Cooper goes, 7 picks beforehand. Concepcion, yes, a lot of folks like him. I'm not sure he's exactly what the Chiefs are looking for. I do think there's more that you want to look for on the outside. Also, I don't think Denzel Boston is their cup of tea either. Yep. So it does make it very difficult to squeeze in a fit at 29 currently. So more and more, whatever we did with number 9 works out or not, more and more I'm seeing that the Chiefs cannot stay at 29 and get done anything that can help them at this point without making it a significant reach.
Yeah, and that's the big question is, if Kansas City doesn't get Bain at 6 and they have to go, or 9, and they have to go a different direction, what can they get done? In this scenario, if Kansas City doesn't get Bain at 6 and they have to go, or 9, and they have to go a different direction, what can they get done? In this scenario, if Kansas City doesn't get Bain at 6 and they have to go a different direction, what can they get done? I mean, in this scenario, you're still looking at your top 5 edge rushers are gone by 27. So you can't stay at 29. If you don't get an edge at pick 9 or pick 6 or whatever, you still can't stay at that period because you're not going to get your edge at 29. So you're going to have to trade up just to try to go get an edge. Depending on what you get in at pick 9, you still need an edge at 29. So you have to get out of the first round, in my opinion, with an edge.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Knowing that there were 2 picks there, and yes, maybe this trade up was a little bit on the cheap for a 5th round pick, but I will say you cannot afford to give up both of those picks in order to move up. So if it becomes you lose out on Bain because you didn't move up and you have to go to a different position there, then you have to move up with 29. But you can't give up those. You cannot take just one selection in the first round, in my opinion.
Unless you trade back. That would be the only caveat. If you get an edge at 9, I think you can trade back at 29 if the board just doesn't allow you to get where you really want to go. But that would be really the only scenario. But you'd have to get an edge with your first pick. Yeah. And I don't think that you're going to be in a position at 29 to get a guy that you want. So you're either going to have to trade up or trade down. And so, I mean, that's really, I think, going to be the scenario for this team. But Kenyon Sadiq coming in and having a year to learn under Travis Kelce and be in the NFL and see how Kelce trains, see how Kelce reads the field and understands defenses and how he has the relationship with Mahomes, I think would be a huge benefit for him in 2026.
Agreed. That would be a big, big boon to jumping right into the deep end and getting yourself going.
Yeah, and if he gets to a point where he can come in and give them, even if it's just 300 or 400 yards in 2026, I still think that's a win for Kansas City because Kelce's probably still going to give you 700 to 800 would be my guess as long as he stays healthy. And at that point, you're going to be in a good situation, and then Kenyon Sadiq can come in and be your starter in 2027, and you already have that position taken care of. Because we've been talking about this for 5 years that they need to find a Travis Kelce replacement of sorts, it seems. And like, I did not expect him to be playing to the age he is right now. But at this point, he is still going, and I think he's going to be done after 2026. So getting a replacement for him in 2027 makes a ton of sense. Is there anything else that stood out to you in the way that the first round shook out?
Just that it does look, as we were talking about before, about some of the wide receivers got pushed down, the tackles got pushed up. So even though it wasn't exactly as dramatic as we're hearing right now, at least over the weekend, it does look like it's trending that way. So if that continues, we need to keep an eye on it this week, and we'll come back and make sure whatever is happening, we will have a thread through it so we understand what, not just the top 8, but honestly what 15 through 23 look like, because that's probably the prime trade area.
Yeah. And if you're able to get your defensive end and you can trade up to anywhere in that 15 to 23 range, it's going to be a big question to me what you're going to have to give up to go from 29 to get to where you really want to be. But if you're trying to get a blue chip player, which is exactly why I felt like we should make the trade, because I do think that while Sadiq probably isn't worth the number 9 pick, I think he's definitely worth 18, and I do think he is considered a blue chip player. Do you have a first round grade on him?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I don't have a top 10 grade on him, but I will say this: if the Chiefs feel that he is a better option than any of the 3 wide receivers, all of whom have something about them that is a drawback, I could see them doing
at 9.
Yep.
Yeah. We will see. That goes completely against what Brett Veach has generally done with his first round picks, because it's not a premium position, but he is a special player at that position. So we will see if that's something that they do. Let us know what you think in the comments, and let us know what you think about the draft overall, how it turned out. And we will be back to talk to you tomorrow. We're going to have Matt a little bit later this week. And don't forget, the draft at this point is less than 2 weeks away. Cannot wait. Thank you all for listening today, and we will talk to you tomorrow.